Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoyed this video and consider subscribing if you like videos like this one. Today we are doing another setup video with me. This is going to be for the month of November. As always, every month, a few days prior to the beginning of the following month, we sit down here and we actually get our journals ready to go. So that's what we are doing today. To make things easier and faster, I didn't even bother to do a headshot video. I just wanted to jump in right into this setup here to make things easier. Usually those videos are quite long in my channel because I have so many things going on at the same time. So I thought to make life easier and make it faster, I'll just move right into the actual video. So I hope you guys don't mind. And another thing that I wanted to say, if you're new here, you might not know that, but I've been quite slacking this week and I'm really sorry. I'm usually pretty good at uploading quite frequently here in this channel. I try to upload at least 4 to 5 times a week, and usually Monday through Friday, but this week it has been so crazy with work for me. I'm all over the place. I'm trying really hard to keep up with the recording and editing, and it's just not happening, and I'm really sorry. I'm gonna try to catch up throughout the weekend, so hopefully next week we go back to the regular schedule. But yeah, I really apologize, especially if you are expecting my videos to come out and they are just not showing up in your notifications bar. I'm really sorry about this. Yeah, it's really hard to keep up a channel, especially when you have a full-time job. And yeah, it's just, like I say, the busier my job gets, the more difficult it gets for me to keep up with the recording. But hopefully I will be able to kind of sort it out my life throughout the weekend, and I will be able to have some videos going for you guys for next week. So we're gonna hopefully be able to go back to the regular schedule. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into the video. I rambled already so much, but here's what I decided to do for this month. So you guys know that every month I do decided to come up with a theme that I go throughout the journal, at least for the first few pages. And again, if you're new here to this channel, you might not know how the system works here, so let me explain really quick. So I use my journal as both my planner as well as my daily journal. So the first few pages of this journal, it is going to be dedicated for my planner portion, which is going to be a couple of things here that I'm going to be adding to the planner portion. First thing, it is my goal page. That's the page that I use it to write it down, my monthly goal. I don't work with yearly goals. I don't believe in yearly goals. I think they're too far out and it's just not attainable. I like to work with monthly goals. That's personal preference, and it's been working for me so far, so I'll keep doing it as long as it's working. But yeah, every month I sit down and I think through what has been going on in my life and what I want to achieve, and I come up with a new goal for the month. And so that's the first thing that I like to add it to my planner. Then after that, I have my monthly calendar. That's just an overview of the month with holidays, birthdays, parties, events, everything between. And then after that, I set up my weekly logs. That's where I'm going to be displaying each day of the week, and that's what I usually write my daily goals. So hope that makes sense. But this is what we are doing here. So for the monthly setup, I like to first decorate the cover of my journal. And I started right off the bat already stamping some watercolor paper here and going to the decoration. Then I remembered that I actually forgot to add my extra page to this insert. So I went to the center of the page, I lifted up some of those staples, and I added an extra page. And the reason why I do that is because I use my journal again as both my planner as well as my daily journal. So the first few pages of my journal are going to be dedicated for my planner, but the remaining pages are going to be for my daily journal. And I journal daily. So for each day of the month, I like to dedicate it 2 full pages, 2 full open pages in my journal. So that way, in order for me to be able to fit everything, my planner and my daily journal, I have to add an extra page for those months that has 30 or 31 days. So pretty much only February is the month that I don't need to add the extra page, but otherwise all of the other months out of the year I'm adding the extra page so I can fit everything in my insert. So hope that makes sense. I do have a separate insert that I only use for the sole purpose of removing those pages. So I rip the staples out of it, and I just keep removing each month a page out of it. So that's all that I use the insert for. And because this insert that I get it is from Traveler's Company, it is the 003 insert. It is a staple. It makes things easier. If it was a stitched insert, it would be probably very hard for me to be able to add the extra page. I'll probably have to come up with some other solution, like maybe splitting 2 days and just use half of a page for 2 days out of the month so I could fit everything in this insert. And you can certainly do that if you don't want to add the extra page. I don't know, my perfectionist so like to have, likes to make sure that everything is in the same way and everything's perfect. So I like to make sure that everything is on the same way. So all of my days has to be the 2 full pages. I don't know, I'm picky like that. But if you are not, you don't have to do it. And some of you don't even like to journal daily. So if that's the case, you can actually remove pages if you're not going to be using, your insert completely, or I don't know, if you just want to use half of a page, meaning one side of the page for each day, you can definitely do that. And instead of adding pages like I do, just remove pages, and you'll be able to have the enough amount of pages that you need. So it's all preference. I like to have 2 full pages because I like to write a lot most of the days. But when I don't, I like to have space to decorate it. Usually not often, but I try to, especially if there's something special happening on that day. I like to take pictures, and I like to save those pictures to my journal. If I'm receiving anything in the mail that I think is special, I like to save those letters, those cards into my journal as well. Here is where I keep all the memento, all of the things that are memories to me that I wanted to, keep and be able to go back and look and be able to remind me of what happened on that day. So that's what I use my daily journal for. So I like to have enough space for that. So that's why I dedicated 2 full pages for each day of the week. But so going back to the layout here and the whole decoration, I'm pretty much done with the cover here at this point. I'm really sorry I ramble so much. But the whole idea was still to keep kind of a fall theme for this insert, but I didn't want it to go too crazy with the fall colors. I don't know about you guys. I don't know where you guys at right now, if you are in the United States or in another country, but here where I am, I'm actually in Flagstaff, Arizona. So we are in a mountain town. It is pretty cold. It doesn't feel like fall anymore. It feels like winter. So I was trying to figure out a way to decorate my journal that kind of resembles the reality of my weather right now. So I wanted to still dedicate this layout to somehow a fall theme, but bringing a little bit of the winter vibes, if that makes any sense. So the idea that I came up with was to actually do a brown, white, and cream color scheme, and do kind of like a, how you can say, kind of a fall theme moving towards winter. So I wanted to mix fall items combined with winter items, which is, leaves already, dead leaves and that sort of thing. So I thought the brown and white was a good example, especially because we already had our first snowfall here, believe it or not. So we are full on the interior vibes here. So I thought white would be a good option. So yeah, so for the fall vibes, I decided to go with some pine cones. That definitely brings me fall vibes. And for the winter portion, kind of like, moving towards the winter, decided to go with the white and brown. When I think of winter, I think of white, and I think of brown. Everything is dead, it's just brown, right? So yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. I really brown is one of my favorite colors. Brown and white, I think it goes so well. They're definitely favorite colors of mine, and it's just earthy tones in general. It's just so calming, and I thought it was so great. And yeah, I really like how it turned out. You're gonna notice here that I kind of messed up when I tried to write it, the title, November 2020. I tried to use one of my Jelly Roll pens in white, and it didn't quite stand out when I did that. So I tried to, go on top of it with my Sakura Micron 01 pen, and that it just didn't work out. It was like failing my Sakura because the Jelly Roll pen was just sucking in my Sakura ink pen, and I was like, oh my god. So I was like, I just decided after all to cover up with some more of this watercolor paper, and I think it turned out pretty well because it still stands up a little bit more. But yeah, so I used all of the items that I could find in my stash with white, cream, and brown. So for the stamping, I used some stamp that I got from Your Creative Studio with a spine cone. I used some stickers that was gifted to me by one of you guys. Also some of this wax seal in white and brown, which is beautiful. I also used some crochet details and some doilies and some book pages. But yeah, that's pretty much it. For the following page, what I did was my goal page. That's the first page when you open the journal. And if you're familiar at all with the Travelers Company inserts, all of them has this kind of like a rectangular shape on the front. That's what they call the inside cover, and it has the Travelers Company logo on the bottom, and it has this rectangular shape on the top. And I like to use that front page for my goal page. That's where I put, I usually try to be very simple, very minimal with that goal page. It's just I want a space to write it my monthly goal, and I just work with one goal at a time, so it's just one goal a month, so I don't need a lot of space. So I just added some of that same paper that I used it for the for the cover. That's that watercolor paper. It's just a thicker with more texture type of paper. I really like to use texture papers for some reason. You guys like that too? I love texture, so I'm very weak for texture papers, so I absolutely love it. And you're gonna notice, I don't know if you can see it through the video, but you're gonna notice that actually the book pages that I'm using here throughout those layouts were gifted to me by one of you guys. And there was this book page that, although it's just a regular book page with some English writing, the texture of that paper is just absolutely beautiful and amazing. So of course I had to add that. But yeah, I just used some of a piece of that book page with some of that watercolor paper. I stamped a small pine cone there with my brown ink, and I was good to go. I just added some a sticker with some dried flower in brown as well, and that was my goal page. Very simple, but I really liked how it turned out as well. So you're gonna notice here throughout all of those layouts that there's definitely a theme going on. You're gonna notice that throughout all of those pages, I try to keep the same color scheme. That's what I like to do, at least for the first few pages of my journal, the planner portion of it, which is my goal page, my monthly calendar, and my weekly log. At least the first week, I like to keep a cohesive theme. Do I have to do that? No, probably not. I used to not do that. I used to go completely different cover, completely different from the goal page, from the monthly log. But I just realized that I really enjoy seeing a cohesive theme throughout, and it's the first few pages. So that's what I started to do. And because I'm recording this all at one shot for you guys here for the setup, so I thought it would be nice to have a cohesive theme throughout as well. But yeah, so this next page here, once I'm done with my monthly goal page, the next page that I flip through, it's going to be my monthly calendar. So this is actually where I'm going to keep track of everything that is happening throughout the month. This is a very basic overview of the month. I don't put a lot of details here. This calendar is not for me to set up appointments, dentist, doctor's appointment, nothing like that. This calendar is mainly for big things, right? I wanted to make sure that I know what's going on throughout the month. So what I keep track here on this monthly calendar is my birthdays, my events, trips, if any. Let's be real. With COVID-19, there's no trips happening anywhere in the near future. But, we can dream. But yeah, this is pretty much what's happening. I want to know if I need to buy presents, if I need to send cards. So any type of event, if I need to get ready, if I need to plan something, someone to stay with the chickens and with the dogs. So here is an overview of what's going on in my calendar. So that's why I keep track. I don't use that calendar that much, but I always like to keep that. It's a good way to always, every month, actually before the month starts, to know exactly what's happening on that month, so I can prepare and I know exactly what I need to do to get ready for whatever it's happening. So yeah, so for this monthly calendar, I like to use some pages from my old planners. I used to use a Lordstrom dotted page planner, and I have so many of them with some pages left over, and they're all dotted. So I use those pages, those leftover pages, to actually draw my calendar. But if you don't have dotted pages near you and you wanted to do the same, the measurements here is 1 by 1, so 1 inch by 1 inch for each day of the month. And I usually split the calendar 4 days of the week in one side and 3 days on the other side. I don't know if you noticed here, but I do start my weeks on Mondays. So you might notice that's slightly different from your calendar if you do start your week on Sundays. But it's personal preference. I do like to start my weeks on Mondays, so I keep that on my weekly logs as well as my monthly log. So so I just come in, added that, and I just added some extra ephemera here. I used some stickers that were gifted to me again from one of you guys. I also added some cutouts that was also gifted to me by one of you guys. If you are curious about all of those beautiful items that I've received, I actually just posted a video on my YouTube channel 2 days ago that I did a journal with me video and a mail time where I show you guys the packages that I received from my beautiful followers. I show you guys in details all that were gifted, all the items that were gifted to me. So if you want to check it out, I'll link it above here on the screen so you can check it out later. But so beautiful items. I was just so inspired by all the items that you guys gifted me. So I just had to use it. So I was gifted by 3 lovely ladies. One was Sharon, Christy Lee, and Natasha. So if you guys are watching, thank you for all of the items. You guys made my day. It's just so beautiful, everything that you guys sent to me, and it gave me so much inspiration. I had to use the items that you gifted me for the setup. So yeah, most of the items that I'm using was gifted to me by those lovely ladies. So, but yeah, for the final layout here for today, this is my weekly log. So again, if you're new here, how I set up my weekly log is for each week of the month, I use one side of each page, and I separated 1 inch per each day of the week. And I started from the bottom measuring, and I measure all the way up, and on the top, whatever is left over, I use that portion for my title. This week it is slightly different because actually there's only 1 day pertaining to November. If you don't know that about me, each month I have a different insert that I work off of it. And I don't like to mix it out, the inserts. So once I'm done with the insert for October, I'm done with that. I started a brand new one for November, and I want just the things pertaining to November to be here. So I don't want it to mix it up. I could have, for instance, this first day of November, I could have had to put it on my weekly log from the last week of October in my October insert, but it just logically doesn't make sense to me, because then I'm displaying in my October insert something that pertains to November. So I don't know, trust me, I am that picky. I am that perfectionist when it comes to that stuff. I can be very, I don't know what to do with myself. So if you guys are not that picky, then you should probably don't waste a lot of energy and paper and just edit everything combined in one insert. So, whatever it is, the week that has more days pertaining to that specific month, just leave it in that month. But for me, I want to have everything for that month in that insert. So what happens sometimes in cases like this one, the first week of November only has 1 day pertaining to November, which was Sunday. So what I did is I didn't even bother to mark the lines dividing the rest of the days of the week, because there's only 1 day really. So the remaining space on the top, I just decorated, and yeah, it's gonna make more sense if you watch any of my Plan With Me videos where I am decorating some of my weekly layouts, and I'll link it above here on the screen, my playlist, if you're interested in watching it all. But yeah, I'm just finalizing here, adding the week 44. That's my title. I usually indicate which week that weekly layout it is for. But that's pretty much it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this layout. Let me know in the comments, did you like this? Did you like that was kind of like a mix, interchanging between fall and winter, or are you still on full-on fall? I love fall. Fall is my favorite season, but it doesn't feel like fall anymore here. So, but yeah, I still try to be a little bit on the fall side, but without going too crazy on your face. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you got some inspiration from today. But that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. If you stick this far in this video, bless your soul. Thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.